I think it happens in Korea for a lot of industries that
Hmm.
the senior was saying to the junior, you're not at work to have fun. You are at work to make money, and then you use that money
Yep.
to have fun outside. This is totally nonsense. You work for 40, 50 years of your life, and then you don't have fun. This is totally nonsense. What
Yeah.
is this? So this is a big no. If you hear this, don't believe it. And
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Like Living in Korea podcast. I'm your host, Un. Have you heard the word entrepreneurship? I remember when I first heard that word back in my college, it was such a long and tricky word to pronunciate. So I Googled to know that word and knew that the word entrepreneurship actually comes from the French verb entreprendre. Entreprendre. It sounds so mouthful. It means to try, to adventure, or to take on a challenge. Because of this, France has always felt like the home of entrepreneurship to me. Well, today I have a very special guest who truly lives up that word, entrepreneurship. He is French entrepreneur who built an amazing platform right here in Korea. His name is Florian, the CEO of Dev Korea. Florian moved to Korea 3 years ago and started by hosting various tech meetups. 2 years ago, he launched Dev Korea, a tech recruitment platform. As of this January, it has grown into a major hub with over 3,000 tech experts. What's cool about Dev Korea is that it connects companies needing English speaking developers with talented people looking for international careers. It doesn't matter if you're a Korean or a foreigner. If you are a developer who can work in English, this is the perfect good place in the market. I was so inspired by Florian's vision and his attitude, so I invited him here to hear his story, his startup journey, and his insight as well. Let's meet Florian. All right, Florian. Good
yeah,
to see you again.
hello, good
All
to see
right.
you as well.
Okay. Thank you for accepting this interview. And I'm so glad to have you in this interview call.
Yeah, thank you for interviewing me.
Yeah. So before we dive into our interview, I wanted to have a small talk. I just heard that you just returned to Korea after your long winter holiday in
Mhm.
France. How was it?
It was good. It's always good to see the family and friends. But was there for 3 weeks. You know, as always, not enough time to see everyone, do everything.
Mhm.
Especially during the Christmas time. It's always a lot of food. So probably it's not probably. I surely gained some kilos. But
How much
that,
kilograms did you get?
yeah, I think around 4. To be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. So
It sounds,
went
yeah, it
back.
sounds a lot.
Went back and just the jet lag was quite hard on the way back from. It's actually
Mhm.
easier from Korea to Europe rather than Europe to Korea. And then when I was a bit back, went back to the gym. And but the I always feel the problem is, I always love to go back to see my family and everything, but as a
Mhm.
founder, it's always stressful because you will not be productive, even though you try not to think about it and just enjoy. It's quite very hard to enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
So, many people ask, did you rest well and so on? It's not resting because you think about work because you don't have time to do everything that you're used to, and then you're thinking like, "Oh, I'm getting delayed and not productive enough." And then at the same time, you try to enjoy with family, and so it's
Mhm.
always tricky. I always feel that, and all the founders out there, they might understand that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I, Actually, this is the problem to balance the life and work all the time. And also, you are as a founder and CEO of your platform. It's a very tricky to manage everything at once while
Yeah,
you are resting with your family. But I really hope you enjoy the time with your family and you
yeah, yeah. I
spend a
did.
bunch of time with. Mhm.
I
Yeah.
did, and I'm glad to also be back to Korea. I always enjoy to be here, and 3 weeks is good, and now back to work.
Okay, you're back to work. How about your
Yeah,
working out? You hit the gym these days
yeah,
to
yeah,
lose your weight?
yeah. Yeah, I try to, and especially I have a recently. I mean, not recently, but I have a problem in my left shoulder. It's been like maybe a year, and the doctor always say
Uh-huh.
you have to stretch a lot and you have to,
Mm,
gain back muscle. So I have to push myself to go and you know.
mhm.
But as always, you go to the gym, you try to work out, then the phone is nearby, and then you start checking mails, and it's always the same. It's always the same. So I think sometime I should
Oh,
leave the phone on the locker, and then so be it. But it's
okay.
hard. It's not easy.
Okay, Florian, now I truly know your personality. I know you're passionate about your platform and your work. So, wow, it's really happy to hear that. I don't want to extend the small talk, but I just want to ask you about your thinking about the Korean gym because Korean's gym is so special for foreigners.
What do you think is special for foreigner? What kind of things make you believe that?
I mean, the working out in Korea is like the one of the New Year's resolutions. So
Uh
recently,
huh.
when I went to that gym, I saw many people, but I to believe maybe the 1 month later, everybody just disappear.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's just a Korean thing, to be honest. It happens every
Oh,
time.
okay.
But I have experience in gym in France, in Japan, and in
Hmm.
Korea. Well, the thing that might be interesting to foreigner, interesting is everyone, there is no individual showers, right? I mean,
Oh,
maybe in some gyms they might be, but like everyone is showering in the same. I don't care too much about it. I played soccer, football when I
hmm,
was in France,
hmm,
and when you play like collective sports, the
hmm,
shower are like that. But then in France, it was individual shower. In Japan,
hmm.
definitely individual shower, even though you have the
Exactly.
public bath. But I'm not that surprised. There is nothing much that surprised me. Like maybe, but it's not just at the gym, but it's like Korean culture. It's like people are so fashionable when they do things, right?
Exactly.
I
Yes.
go to the gym, and I sweat a lot, and I don't, I just have a short, like, and just a normal like sporty
Yeah.
t-shirt, and so be it.
Yeah.
But people always, look
Very
good, and
fashionable.
with the
Yeah.
cap, and it's just always
Yeah.
so. But it's not just for the gym. It's just when they are cycling. There was a big boom recently about running, and when they run,
Right.
they might run just 2 kilometers, but they have full gear, and looks good. So
Exactly.
it's maybe
Yeah.
the thing that shocked me the most.
Yeah. It's so funny, the Korean people, we call it like that 장비 equipment,
Uh-huh.
but I think the most of the people before they study some sports, they first buy some gadgets and equipment first,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then just use it and then do that. So it's a very fun
yeah.
thing for Korean.
Maybe
I'm
the
because
competition
competition.
aspect of Korea. Maybe people,
Hmm.
they compete about, who has the best car, who has the best bike,
Exactly.
who has so
Hmm.
maybe it's related.
Definitely related. So I just dive into the interview question first. You are working as the founder and CEO of your recruiting platform for foreign people. It is called the Dev Korea,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
could you please introduce more and also just tell us more specifically what you are working as a CEO?
yeah, yeah. So first off, I want to start by saying, so Dev Korea, the name of the platform, I would say it's not a platform for foreigners, foreign people, foreigners. And the error, the mistake is easy to make, and I made it in the beginning because when I started Dev Korea, I thought, it should be for foreigners, because if you are if you are a Korean person, or even if you are a foreign person speaking Korean, why would you come to Dev Korea? You would go to the big platforms like Job Korea,
Hmm.
Salaming, Wanted. Why would you come here? And then I quickly realized, and especially the first person who got hired on Dev Korea was a Korean person. So even though on the platform I branded it, it's the tech job platform for foreigners, the first person who got hired was a Korean. So it kind of
Mhm.
mixed everything, like what I was thinking about. And for now, I like to say that it's just a platform for English speaking people. It could
Yeah,
be
English
foreigners
speaking.
in and out
Mhm.
of Korea, and it can be Korean natives living in and out of Korea. So as long as you
Mhm.
speak English, and don't have to be fluent, don't have to be a native speaker, you
Mhm.
can use Dev Korea and you can find opportunities. Um,
Mhm. I just
yeah,
wanted to add one thing. I
yeah,
just read the article about the Dev Korea platform. Actually, as you already explained it, this platform was for the foreign people at the first time, mistakenly, but it gave a really good, the job opportunity for Koreans as well. So
yeah,
now you promoted your platform as the English speaking, the job hunters.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's exactly what it is. Quite recently, maybe 2, 3 weeks ago, I
Hmm.
received a message from a company and they hired someone,
Hmm.
and that person was Korean as well. So Korean, since the early days, came to Dev Korea, and more Korean
Hmm.
comes to Dev Korea to also find job opportunities in global companies
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
Korea and remote. And that's the
Yeah. All right. It's really great. And I told you before when we met last time, I was so surprised. Someone who really contributed this effort to make this, the industry and the recruitment things for the Korean as well as the foreign people. So it is
yeah.
really impressive. All right. By the way, I just wanted to ask you, what was your key motivation behind studying Dev Korea?
So so when I came to Korea three years ago, uh, I'm big into the tech communities. When I was in Japan
Mm-hmm.
before, uh, I think maybe it's good if we have like a brief introduction about my background, so it's like the flow is maybe a little bit easier to understand. Born and raised in France, I have a master degree in computing science.
Mm-hmm.
Then right after my master degree, I moved to Japan to open my first company. So I opened my first company with two Korean co-founders and another French person. So I got
Mm-hmm.
introduced to Korea quite early on, and we
Mm-hmm.
did business in Japan for around 6 years, different product, different apps, website, different services. Then we grew from 4 people to around 16. And then after these 6 years, we closed the company, and then I kind of felt like I wanted to start things on my own, and could have been Japan, could have been Korea, or anywhere else. But at the time, I've actually seen that it was way easier and faster to start a business in Korea and in Japan, and then in a lot of countries that I know. And I didn't want to run something in the US. I love Asia. So I wanted to stay geographically here.
Mm-hmm.
Then Korea, I decided to go to Korea. And
Mm-hmm.
then, so when I first moved to Korea, I wasn't planning to do anything like Dev Korea, but I thought to myself, okay, 6 years in Japan, I moved to Korea, I will take a little bit of a break, just
Mm-hmm.
refresh a little to see what I do now. But still, I'm very big into tech communities, going to events, speaking at event, tech related, like programmers for developers. So I went to I did couple of weeks before coming to Korea, I did a talk in Japan, and I said, okay, maybe I can reuse this talk and give it in Korea. And that was
Uh-huh.
my first wall that I was hitting in Korea. I talked to a couple of communities, and these communities said, we'd love to have you speak, but you don't speak Korean, you speak English, so it's
Mhm.
not gonna work. Talked
Uh-huh.
to a couple of communities like that, and I was like, it's not gonna work. Our audience is full Korean, and you unfortunately you can't be speaking. And at some point, two communities say, let's do it. It was quite big communities,
Mhm.
and then I think I was probably one of the first English speaker to speak at their event, and that was one of the first time they also had English speaking audience, not just Korean. And I
Mhm.
thought, okay, maybe something has been triggered, and there will be more of that. unfortunately, I think it didn't happen, or maybe once or twice.
Mhm.
I have this mentality of, if I can't find what I want, I will just make it
Mhm.
myself. And
Uh-huh.
I was used to be part of the organization team in Japan of a tech meetup called the Tokyo
Mhm.
iOS Meetup. So when I moved to
Uh-huh.
Korea, I said, I love iOS. So, I will just try to do what we did in Japan, which was already a big community in Korea,
Mhm.
starting from zero. So
Mhm.
I just called it the Seoul iOS Meetup, you know, very
Mhm.
original for a name. But, started like this in a coffee shop. For it was just me alone.
Yep.
I tried to promote here and there. It was just one person. Then one person came, check it out. What was this guy doing? Then two-person, then three-person, then zero, then
Mhm.
one, then
Mhm.
two, and then at
Mhm.
some point, I needed to go to I needed to go back to my hometown to France for, maybe a month or 2 months. But
Uh-huh.
I knew that for making communities, it's all about consistency. You can't stop. If you stop, it's very hard to start. If you just stop, then it's very easy to lose everything.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I said, okay, maybe I will do them online, weekly online, and
Mhm.
online is
Mhm.
easier
Mhm.
to connect.
Mhm.
And I was totally wrong. Nobody came. Pretty much nobody
No
came.
one can really.
Because, you come back home and it's like, "Oh, there's the meetup," but I'm at home and, I'm lazy, and so
Yeah.
actually online to me, I don't
Mhm.
like online. So,
Mhm.
it didn't work for me. Uh, but still, I was doing them, and even though I was alone, it doesn't matter much. I could still do some work here and there, but I was showing up. That was the most important. I was showing up,
Mhm.
and then at some point I came back to Korea, and then at the event, at the coffee shop, there were 16 people. Just
Wow.
from, in
From 0, 2, and
yeah,
16.
yeah, and then I came back, and the first offline back in Korea, 16 people. So then
Mhm.
I thought, okay, now is the time where I can actually do what I wanted since the beginning, which is monthly
Mhm.
event at the venue with a speaker. But you can't do that in the beginning. If you have like two people coming, you can't just bring a speaker, and no venue will want you to. But so did that step, just a round table talking about tech, and then move to the next stage. But what I've learned when I did that is, like, when you are a community builder, when you manage a community, when you manage event, people see you like some kind of a therapist, a leader, and they come to you very easily, and they talk to you
Uh-huh.
about their problem. And if you
Mhm.
listen, you might hear interesting things. And the usual things that I heard was, I am Florian. Don't you know? Do you have any tips, any advice to find a job in Korea?
Mhm.
I don't speak Korean, so I can't use the platforms.
Mhm.
Sometime
Mhm.
I use translation and I submit my application, contacting me again. And I heard this one time, 5 time, 10 time, 20 time.
Mhm. Mhm.
So as an entrepreneur, you usually do businesses in two different ways. The first one is, I have the problem myself, so I can't find a job, and I try to solve it for myself. And then I realize,
Mhm.
okay, a couple of other people like share the same pain, and I'm trying to solve it for other people as well. And then I put a business
Mhm.
model. But that was not my case for Dev Korea, because I never needed to find a job in my life.
Okay.
After graduation, so I did an internship and an apprenticeship when I was
Mhm.
at university. But after that, I said, no more. I can't. I have to do my own stuff. So I
Mhm.
don't know how hard it is to find a job. I don't know how hard it is to find a job in France, in US,
Uh-huh.
in Japan.
Mhm.
It's kind of odd. I can't solve that problem because I don't know what they feel. But the other case is, from your environment, what you do. You hear very strong signals of a problem. And that was the case for Dev Korea. I heard many
Okay.
people telling me the same thing. So I was like, wait, there must be something to be done. Many people were like, I try to find job, and most of the time I use Craigslist. Craigslist is
Mhm.
kind of, you find like a used bike on Craigslist. You find, a used book on Craigslist. You don't find, a job. A job is a very important thing. A job
Exactly.
can
Job is
like
for everything
good
to
or
live
bad.
in Korea actually, right? Mm.
Yeah. So then I thought, okay, then I will try to do something about it. I went to, but Dev Korea is also a very tricky business because it's what is called the chicken and egg problem, meaning that
Mhm.
for people to come to my website, I will need jobs posted. And
Mhm.
in order for companies to post jobs on the platform, they will ask me how many people come to your website. So, where do you start? So the idea was, there are some jobs here and there, very
Mhm.
little
Mhm.
because it's a niche market. It's a very niche market. So the market is very, very small. But there are some jobs on LinkedIn, some jobs on Craigslist, some job here, some job. It takes a lot of time for people, to navigate everything and say, oh,
Mhm.
most of the time everything is in Korean, so I'm wasting time finding. So I was doing the job manually to actually go to this platform and put curate
Mhm.
and redirect. And this is
Uh-huh.
why brought the traffic and then brought companies later on.
Mm.
So yeah, it was not something that I planned to do, but from the signals that I received running event and my
Mhm.
community, then
Mhm.
if you listen to the people, they will tell you what actually needs to be done. And then if you are willing to do it, then you can do it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you for your explanation. You first settled in Japan and you started your startup with two Korean co-founder and French
Yeah.
people. It's so
Yeah.
interesting story. And also you scaled into the 16 people and you created the iOS meetup in Japan. And also you just made the decision to experience the Korean. And then you studied your meetup and you scaled it to, I heard that recently your last meetup, maybe the participant is almost over the 100, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah. So just a quick notice on the event, the Tokyo iOS meetup. It's not me who created that one. I know I
Uh-huh.
joined an already established
Ah, I
community.
see.
That's
Mhm.
that's why this community was way bigger, like 3,000 members and so on. Very like
Oh.
well established, good numbers, good
Mhm.
organizers. So that actually helped me a lot to learn how to, you know, talking to the organizer and then joining little by little the organizers to know how to manage things, how to try to find sponsors, how to try to find venues and try to bring people together. So learned a lot. And then when I moved to Seoul, I was like, I will try to
Mm.
copy what this guy
Ah, I
did.
see.
And then, that's how it happened.
Yeah. But you successfully created your own meetup and it is now really booming and scaled.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I came. I remember like last year I went to Japan and the Tokyo iOS meetup had an event, and then the organizers were telling me like we are doing better in Korea now than they are doing in Japan. We bring more
Really?
people, we have more events, but this
Uh,
is the difficult part about event. A lot of the organizers, most of the
nice.
time, because of
Yeah,
they have a baby, they have a new family, they have to move companies,
exactly.
especially
Mhm.
the one who
Mhm.
drive communities, English speaking communities, they are foreigners. I think in Japan, most foreigners they stay in Japan maybe 5 years, and in Korea it's quite
Mm.
similar. People don't stay that long in Korea and Japan. So, you know, after 3, 4, 5 years, the guy is gone, and then that guy had to move company, and now he's busy, and that guy
Mhm.
now has a kid or 2 kids, and very busy as well.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
it's very hard to keep event at the high standards, community has high
Right.
standards, and because it's a
Mhm.
lot of work. So, but
Yeah.
so far so good, and in Korea, and now there was the Seoul iOS meetup in Korea. Then Dev Korea was created. Now we have the Dev Korea event as well. Dev Korea
Mhm.
communities running two communities is also very tricky. So this is a new problem that is coming right now. It's like time.
Was about to ask you, how do you manage the two events in Korea? But operating the community is a very, very tricky and difficult part. But I just read your new post on LinkedIn or discover member just hit over 500.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
these are really great news. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, yeah, and so how to manage time is quite tricky. I think the first part is to find a group of people that believe in what you're doing and are willing to help,
Hmm.
volunteer and be there to help. And the first person that did that since the beginning is my wife. So since the
Oh.
beginning, she has
Mhm.
been, so that's the very interesting thing is she's
Yeah, tell
Korean.
me. Okay.
She's Korean, and she was the first to doubt about what I wanted to do. So she was when I
Oh.
wanted to do the meetup, it's not going to work. When I do
Mhm.
Dev Korea, it's not going to work. So
Mhm.
she was the first person to doubt about will it work or not. But she was also the first person to not hesitate to, be there.
Mhm.
Even though she didn't believe it, she was always supportive and helping a lot to organize the
Mhm.
event. I think to organize event, you need at least two people. Need
Mhm.
one, especially when you go to 40 attendees, 50 attendees, and now on the DevCora event, like 2 months ago, we had like around 130 people, and we have to stop RSVPs quite early because we had like 400 RSVP and so
Mhm.
on, and it doesn't fit the
Wow.
venue. So it's like but I'm the always the person at the front of the event, meaning I'm the
Mhm.
one
Mhm.
holding the mic and entertaining people and
Mhm.
organizing on the front. But when you have this number of people coming to the event, you also need a team of people on the back because
So
we always have food, and all our event. So something that has been very different, I think, from us than what happened in Korea is most of
yeah.
Korean event you have to pay. It's not much, and they don't try to make money out of it, but they have to find a way to buy the food. You can't make an
Mhm.
event in Korea without food. It just doesn't work.
Right.
So, but if you have 40, 50 people, if you bring
Mhm.
pizza, which is the pretty much the cheapest food you can get, still cost
Right.
money. But since the beginning, our events have always been free, always, and plenty of food for
Mhm. Mhm.
everyone, drinks and so on.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
to get the food, to put the food here, to help the people, find a venue, you need a team on the back. And while I'm on the front,
Yeah.
talking, I can't
Right.
do this. Always been lucky to have, my wife, and then on Dev Korea side, other people are also joining to set up the
Mhm.
chairs, 130
Mhm.
chairs, and
Mhm.
um, without these people, it would not be possible. I could still be on the
Right.
front, and because my job scales very fast, very
Mhm.
easily, I can take the
Mhm.
mic and entertain people. One person,
Mhm.
100%.
Mhm.
It scale very well,
Yeah.
but on the back,
Yeah.
it doesn't scale like that. So the more
Mhm.
people we have to bring to the event, the more
Mhm.
team on the back, and this is a hard job. So
Yeah.
that
It sounds like a very hard job. And thank you for
it is.
sharing your true story
Mm.
about your wife as well. Even though your
Yeah,
wife doubt about the David Korea's working, but I think your wife will believe in you. I mean, she knows you're passionate about the community operations and management. So that's the reason why she is also working with you. And I also saw her translation and the hosting on a
yeah, yeah,
LinkedIn. So I think she's also very interested in and enjoy the moment as well. So
yeah. She
I was about
always
to
have been
ask you one
involved.
thing about it. Yes.
Yeah, go
So do
ahead.
you have any plan in this year to scale your community more bigger? And maybe you
Mm.
are thinking of some of the other event or any management way. Explain the not these days, the most of the Korean community is to be paid. So
Yeah,
maybe it will be the one of the options you can think of it, or you can just get us some sponsorship from the other companies. So what is your thinking?
yeah, yeah. So I mean, we always have been, we all the events have always been free, but we still needed to find a way to bring money to pay for food and so on. When you have like last time we had 130, 140 people, it cost like just the food alone cost around we had like burgers, so it's maybe like a little bit more
Pi-
expensive than pizzas, but it was
Yeah,
around
pizza.
2.2 billion won. Yeah, that's the price of you know, and very early on, even with Seoul iOS meetup, and even actually even easier now with Dev Korea, to find sponsors, to find companies that
Hmm.
were willing to pay. Um, 200, 300, $500, to sponsor the food, and then we do some branding for them. We thank them and we showcase the company, which is normal. We always have been lucky to find companies like that. But I can say the name of maybe only two Korean companies willing to do that. And these two
Oh,
companies,
I'm curious.
it's not
Can
about money. It's about
Mhm.
venue. So we did. So the first company that very early on they were looking to open their venue for us to come. It's a
Mhm.
company. It's a company, but then I think the venue space is actually something with the government that they share together. It's called Modulabs, Modu AI.
Lab. Mm.
So
Like
now they organize, a lot of conferences about AI and Python and
yeah.
things like that. And very early on, we were hooked up with these people to actually have access to a great venue. Um,
Mm.
so that's the first in Korea, and the second one in Korea is so we did one event at their venue, HyperConnect. So you might yeah.
Yes. I
So
know the company.
but in term of let me just think about it so I don't say anything that is wrong. But in term of money like sponsoring as money is
Sponsoring.
never happened in Korea
Mm.
as I remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
all the companies that
You
were sponsoring, they were out of.
yeah, out of Korea. Heard that you got sponsorship as money from maybe the Australian the
Yeah,
bank company, right?
yeah,
So it's also
there was
interesting story
Australian
as well.
we had
Mhm.
Australian fintech bank
Ah,
that
fintech
was
bank. Mhm.
yeah, that was still grateful that the sponsor, one of the big sponsors that we got and still get, is Superbase. So
Mhm.
always been active in the community, been organizing even with them, and they were always helping us to make event. Um,
Mhm.
a company in
Thanks to you.
it's more iOS related. Who else? A company called Revenue Cat, also mobile in the
Mhm.
mobile space from the Bay Area. Who else do we get? For the Dev Korea side, we got PostHog, which is an analytic tool from the Bay Area. We got
Mhm.
ClickHouse as well, which is an analytics
Yeah.
tool, and we organize decent number of event at the AWS office in
Oh,
Korea.
AWS. Mhm.
AWS is
Mhm.
more like global company. So even
Mhm.
though I said Hyperconnect in the beginning, I would consider Hyperconnect not a Korean company anymore. I mean, I mean, I don't know. It's in between because they are part of the Match.com group, Tinder, and so
Yeah.
on. So
Yeah.
but always
This
been hard to get sponsoring or help from Korean companies.
Yeah, Florian, I
Hard
cannot
to know why.
guarantee,
Yeah.
but I really hope when I posted your article on the IT magazine, the IT magazine, the Usum IT is quite popular these days in Korea. Maybe some company just saw the article
Yeah.
and then just approach to you and then they just sponsor you. I'm gonna highlight that part. Like
Yeah.
sponsorship
Yeah. I
is
mean,
money.
I hope
Yeah.
so. I always felt that. And I remember you have maybe a question about this about the developer community in Korea later, so I might keep the subject for
Yeah.
later. Always been hard and tricky in terms of
Hmm.
some Korean companies they want to sponsor, but um
Yeah.
they have quite harsh KPI. Want to
Hmm.
they don't sponsor for fun or for
Mm.
you know let's spread let's do it simply, like we and
I,
especially the amount is not that much for a company. I think
mhm.
they always request, like in Korea, they always request a lot for.
So like the number and some that monetary things. I know what you're talking about because most of Korean is very thinking of the outcome always.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
once they pay and they have to get the outcome from the company.
yeah,
So
yeah. And most of the time there are outcome that
mhm,
are are against the motivation of the community to begin with. So that's why I
yeah.
can't accept this kind of
Mhm,
sponsoring. For
Mhm.
example, I will not tell the company name, but
Yeah.
uh, I remember there was one company that they wanted to sponsor the event, and but they ask me, oh, we want to hire people, so usually you do meet up with like 40 people, 100 people. We don't want that. We just want you contact the five best person
Mhm.
that you have, uh and then we make a dinner, we make a small event, and I don't do that. I don't.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
so then it's not it done. Then it doesn't work, and so be it.
Yeah. The Florian, I think we need to switch the gear. The time
Yeah,
is the limited, but I really wanted to extend a little bit because we had some problem about our settings. Is it
problem.
okay?
Yeah, yeah, no
Is it okay
problem.
for you?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, sounds great. All right, then let's talk about the Korea's tech job market and the Korean developers. I just want to know about your stereotype. It's not the stereotype matter, but you've met a bunch of Korean developers in Korea, right? So do you have any thought and observations from the Korean developers?
So I will start with the good thing first. I think what I like about Korean developers, or people in Korea globally, is because of this kind of competition that is
Mm-hmm.
deeply in the culture. I like that people always try to learn something. You go to
Mm-hmm.
the coffee shop and everyone is
Right.
with iPad learning things and try to be better, and I like that.
Korean is
And
very trendy, especially
yeah,
engineers.
yeah. So
Mhm.
um I like the fact that they are very hard workers and very diligent in what they do.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I see a lot of companies from abroad asking me, like, we are thinking to, we have developers in this country and this country, but we are looking to start a team in Korea. What do you think?
Mhm.
How are the developers, how are the tech people in Korea? And I always say, um salaries are not as expensive as in Europe, in the US, Australia, even Japan, I think, but you got a great value for your
Mhm.
money. So as a company
Mhm.
perspective, I think it's a great idea to have a team in
Yeah.
South. Um, but then the problem is, in my opinion, the number one problem is English.
Language.
English
I knew it. Yeah.
and probably the networking kind of thing, which
Mm.
is kinda, it's not in the culture maybe, and people are quite shy, and because of this
Uh-huh.
competition, they think like, "Oh, if I want to network or if I want to go to the Korea event, I need to be fluent in English, I need to be the best because
Mhm.
I can't
Mhm.
I can't come to the event and be not speaking a perfect English." And this is a mistake.
Mhm.
This is a terrible
Mhm.
mistake.
Yeah.
But at the same time, English is so important, and when I see an engineer, software engineer that doesn't speak English, it's hard for me to believe. It's hard for me because all the documentation, all the great
Yeah.
resources are in English. So,
Mm.
so but then
Mhm.
then there might be there is also a big difference between reading the doc and writing and then speaking. And
Mhm.
I think because of this very low tolerance in not being the best at English, they just maybe don't try, or are
Mhm.
scared and shy to try it. So we always had difficulties. I think at the event we have like a percentage of maybe, before it was more, maybe 70%, 80% foreigners, 20% Korean, but now it's getting like 60% foreigners, 40% Koreans natives. I try to do a lot of work online and at event to try to um bring more Korean natives, because I think,
Yeah.
and I don't just tell them, come to Dev Korea event, just come to global event, being Dev Korea or
Mhm. Mhm.
any other
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
You should be exposed to this community, like global communities and this tech scene.
Right.
And because I see a lot of Korean developers that also want to work abroad, but it will be very hard, as it's hard for a foreigner to find a job in Korea because of the language and the culture. If
Mhm.
someone wants to
Mhm.
work abroad, and it's all about connection and network.
Yeah.
So you have to be out there, you have to speak, and you don't have to be fluent, and I always say, English is so important, and I feel I can say it because English is not my native language. So,
Mhm.
if I were like an
Can very well.
I try to, but
Yeah.
um,
By the
you
way,
have
I
not,
have.
it doesn't matter. You have to try.
Yeah.
If you don't try, it will not be good. It's not going to happen like that.
Yeah. I like your attitude about just doing something. But
Yeah,
I feeling like I'm feeling a little guilty because I also worked as software engineer when I started my career. It was very long time ago. I almost forgot everything. The networking is a very tricky part as a Korean because
yeah,
especially the most of engineer, they just do like the individual contributor. They don't want to be like the reader and
mm,
so I think the language and the networking part are the most weak points for most of Korean. So I
yeah. I
believe,
wish more would, and I think maybe in Korean, maybe Korean culture, it's all about thinking about how people would judge you, right?
yeah,
So maybe they might think, there is this group of foreigner, but if I come and my English is not good, they will judge me like we don't care.
yeah,
We don't care.
yeah.
So
Florian, I'm gonna tell you the story about me. I've been, working with the Korean engineers a very long time. When we have like the the global meeting with the foreign people, they are very shy. They never ask. But right after the meeting is ended, they just ask a bunch of questions in Slack.
yeah. So I've seen this a lot, and I have also a story that my wife tell me, and that is
Mhm,
very relevant to that subject. That is so my wife is moving from IT to another industry now, but
mhm,
because she speaks English very well and she was working in the
mhm,
company before, like traditional company, she was always telling me that, she was always the one picked up when they
mhm.
needed to go abroad, to
Yep.
Singapore, to, reinvent in Vegas and this and that. Because
It's
they
the
want
only
to
reason
make,
you can speak in English.
even though she might not, she probably not the right person to go because it might not have been
Mhm.
related, but she
Right?
can speak English, so she can bring, this person and this person, which is kind of odd. But she was always telling me and that when there is this big event in abroad, Koreans stick to each other. You know,
Mhm.
they they go from Korea to Las Vegas and then they all meet together. They go to Korean restaurant and they speak Korean. Then
Yeah.
they after the event is done, they come back to Korea, open LinkedIn, and they write, "Oh, it's so sad that I don't speak English. If I could have spoken English, I would have do so much more." And then next year it's same.
Yeah.
Next year it's the same.
Yeah. Right. It's
You
true.
know,
It's exactly true.
so
Yeah.
it's
As a the English and networking, as I said, is a very tricky part as Korean. We are very homogeneously culture, and we don't have any diversity in Korea. So we don't have many opportunities to expose ourselves to the people. So I think
I,
it's a very
I
tricky.
I remember in the early Dev Korea event, after all the talks and so on, I was
Mhm,
taking the
mhm.
mic. Okay, guys, now it's time for networking, and see all the Koreans rushing out. And then all the foreigners stays and have fun and talk here and there. Now it's good because we have more Koreans staying and then
Yep.
jumping,
Yep.
thinking, okay,
It's
now guys,
true.
it's networking time, and then straight
Yeah.
to the exit.
I'm feeling so guilty. I am the one of Koreans that you are explained it. I have one very fun stories I wanted to tell you. So when I traveled not a travel, it was like the business trip. I went to the Singapore and it was like the seminar. And I didn't know that I thought that I just stayed there and then listen some of the speakers' explanation. It's like the seminar things. So but they just ask you the people like the elevator networking session. So they just goes around the table and just to shake hands and exchange the name card and just to tell what you are working for and any interesting things regarding the seminar. But when I studied that one, I was so shy. So I just went to the toilet. until the event is completed.
You see, so I mean, it is what it is. It's done. But I always feel, for everyone, I always feel that it's for them. Like they would
Yeah.
they would feel so much more empowered, and they will gain so
Mhm.
much from this.
Mhm.
That I also remember that all the talks are in English. So, and we had,
Mhm.
most of the time they are foreign speakers, but sometime, we have Korean speakers speak English, and it's great. And I remember some people, coming to talk and very stressed and taking medicine, to be less
Mm.
stressed.
Okay.
And then speaking, and then after the talk, it's like, oh, it was a great experience. I can't wait to do it again. So sometimes you just need that, and that, I remember that person who did that, spoke at the meetup 3 times now.
Mm.
So, and every time it's better, more comfortable, and I wish that for everyone. I know we are in Korea, and most things are in Korean. But in tech and for your career, I think it's very important to be able to,
Exactly.
speak in
And that
English, don't and mingle
yeah,
with people, and, connect with that
exactly.
guy, and you never know what happened.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. Not only speaking in English, actually, the speaking English is not the matter. It's like the nice to have option, but the networking skill is so important if you want to mingle with people and if you want to expose yourself to the people, right? And also, if you want to get a good job, you
Yeah.
should be having that networking skill.
I
It's
think
very
that's the best. There is this 70, 20, 10%, 10%
important.
rule, which is, in your career,
Hmm.
10% of your opportunities will come from applying online. And I'm a terrible
Hmm.
salesman, because I'm basically saying that Dev Korea is not the best way to find a job, or Saramin, but it's the truth. I can't deny it's true.
Yeah.
Recruiters, so people, but doesn't work if you are like at the junior level. This require more
Hmm.
experience. 70%
Hmm.
is just networking, internal referral connections. So it's very important to not wait, because this connection takes time to build. When you have them,
Hmm.
it's great, but for you to have this kind of connection and power, then it will take a lot of time. So better start now, you know, and that's the beauty of it. You
Truly.
never know what happens. Sometimes you talk, and then
Right.
you meet that person here, and this person introduce you to that person, and then you know you you might end up in a very good company, very good position, thanks to you didn't send one resume,
Yeah.
but just happened.
Right. Life is like that. Well, someone who knows is more powerful when we have like the qualified skill. So yeah, it's a really great wisdom from you. The language skill and the networking. So that's
Yes,
the reason Mhm.
many of them have the technical skills. I can't deny. There's a lot of
Yeah.
very, very good engineers, software,
Right.
hardware engineer in Korea. They are
Hmm.
very
Hmm.
good. A lot of PhDs, a lot of master degrees, a lot of talented people, but they need
Yep.
this. They need this.
Right.
You know, this part that
Yeah.
is, I
So
feel, missing for a lot of them. And then
yeah, I
you
agree.
just compare the Korean engineers who did his degree in Korea and stay in Korea, and then you take the same another engineer that is Korean but then did a master degree abroad and came back, and it's totally different
Hmm.
person. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Right. So I'm so glad I just started my networking with you in this year. I feel like I'm feel more confidence now. All right. Very good. Okay. So yeah, we switched the gear, the vision and the message for 2026. So this is the first question for you regarding that one. Do you have any message for Korean developer? I think you can promote your dev Korea here, and also you just ask them to visit in the meetup or something. So just to freely tell me whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I mean, I can promote the platform, but I think that's too easy, right?
Hmm.
But the message would be same. You have to be out there. You can't. You are missing so much by just staying in at home. Go to event, talk to people,
Hmm.
build
Hmm.
connections. Korean connections in Korean, global connection in English. If you can't find, if you can't, like, there is the Dev Korea even, it's always open, you can come, no problem. There is also other groups you can go. It doesn't matter. Um,
Mhm.
and then if you are looking for, you know, new opportunities, if you look for global companies, Dev Korea is open all the time. It's
Mm.
I had a very hard time telling. I was posting on LinkedIn poll recently that I want I want more Korean natives to come to Dev Korea and apply for jobs because
Mhm.
there is also a lot of companies from abroad that want these people that can speak Korean and English at the same
Mhm.
time. And I
Mhm.
was like, what can I do? I was asking on LinkedIn directly, what can I do? What's the problem about Dev Korea? Why you don't come to Dev Korea? It's because you don't know what Dev Korea is. You don't trust it. You prefer other platforms. I was setting up
Mhm.
this poll, and the number one. So I was very happy because many people knew Dev Korea, but the number one thing that why people didn't come to Dev Korea much as a native is because they thought Dev Korea was for foreigners. So even I try to push that it's not for foreigners.
Mhm.
For many people, they think Dev Korea is for foreigners, which is the whole point that I said in the beginning it's not.
Mhm.
So I'm trying a lot to push that you're Korean and you can speak English. You don't have to be an expert and so on. There are companies looking for your skills, looking for your talent. Don't hesitate to
Mhm.
come and apply. But um, the job market is tough, partially especially for juniors. Unfortunately, I'm seeing like the junior
Yeah, it's a
position like squished, because of AI
it's a
or whatnot. Uh,
yeah, it's a
so
crazy these days, especially for junior level. They
yeah,
cannot find any good qualified job because of AI, right?
yeah,
Even
yeah,
senior as well, you know.
yeah, yeah. But
I'm so
that
scared that one day we will be replaced by AI. AI is
but
crazy.
I definitely don't believe that. But I do
Mhm.
believe that if you don't get interested in the tools, you will get behind.
Um, yeah,
I'm
get behind.
so
Mhm.
another messages would be that one, and I'm the type of person that at first didn't like AI. I mean, I like AI, ChatGPT, and so on, but AI for coding, I was never a big fan in the beginning. I'm the type
Mhm.
of person who like to use Vim to code and very terminal oriented. And
Mhm.
now it's like, oh, but I want to use AI. I have to use cursor. I don't want to use that. I like NeoVim. I'm fast with it. But then one of the person I know very well, recommended me, you have to try it. And then I tried it, didn't like it, went back to Vim. But then I said, for me doing this is it's not right. What I should do is I should pay for pay for the tool and use the
Mhm.
tool only for at least a month. And then you know, I can decide it's good or not. But if I just go
That's a
there
really
and
good strategy.
I have
Mhm.
troubles for one day and then I come back, of course I will have trouble for one day. It's a new thing. So I'm like,
Right.
I prefer the old thing that I'm comfortable with. So that was
Yeah.
not right. And then now I use the tools and I'm seeing, I told you recruiters, I talked to a lot of different
Mhm.
people, and I see more and more as a requirement in the job description that, oh, you should be able to use Cloud Code, you should be able to use Codex, you should be able to use the tooling. I see this in a lot of job description, and I see it more and more. It will be required,
Yeah.
and I see this in a coding interview now, where they let you use AI tools. It's not like
Mhm. Mhm.
or you don't go there, no internet, just a window and you type. Now you have to have because they want to see your fluency in the
Exactly.
tool. So you should be using the tools. You should
Yeah.
know how to use them because if you don't, I think that's will create friction, that will create
Yeah.
problem. And yeah, so even though you might be, as I was, not a big fan of them, and then sometimes I'm frustrated about the tools because one of the
Mhm.
number one frustration is I feel it's making me dumber, like less smart, because
Yeah,
it's very
exactly.
easy to just rely on the tool, and then
Right.
so I feel sometimes you lose like, oh, I knew how to do this before, but now I just, um,
Yeah.
you have to be careful to not lose your skills, but you should embrace
Mhm.
the tooling, especially as a junior. Now,
Mhm.
I feel for a junior. they will have to handle the tools very well. I've seen junior developers being hired because they were very good at using the tools, and
Using the
they
tools
could
for AI.
bring their skills by two,
Mhm,
by three, their productivity, because they
mhm,
were very good at tools. And that was for a company that was very attractive.
mhm, mhm.
Um, so yeah, you can't, it's not going away. So you have to learn it.
Yeah, definitely. Using AI is new normal these days. So
Yeah.
everybody should they leverage AI's technology and then they can expand their, the skill sets. Actually, maybe the 3 years ago when the ChatGPT just came to the world, we just thought that the AI is crazy, but no one use it like these days. But
Yeah.
these days, after the other AI tools just, the booming up and everybody is crazy about using the AI. And as you pointed out, I also feel like one day I'm gonna, to lose every my skill because, for example, when I write down some of the technical document, always thinking about how I, organize everything, like the table and what
Mhm.
field I have to be required and everything. And then I make the structure of the content and then try to write down everything by myself. And then I just think, and then it is my one of study. But these days, the documentation is automatically created by AI. So I don't actually think, and I just read and just to give it the feedback. So I don't
Mhm.
know how I studied about
Yeah.
that things.
Yeah.
So
That's my worry, that we are forgetting how to think. That's my worry.
yeah,
But you can't deny that the tools are great. It's making, like, as a founder, it's like multiplying
mhm,
the productivity
exactly.
like crazy.
Yeah. I like
Yeah.
your strategy, by the way, just to use first and then just choose whether you just use it paid or not. Once.
I mean, you have to use it thoroughly. You can't just, there's a new tool, you just jump in for one day and then say it's not good. And I think this is this is not good. Is because of course it will not be good right away. You have to get
Uh-huh.
involved in it. Same when I started using Vim. I didn't know how to quit Vim, right? As many people. But then you start learning and you start to realize how great it is, and that takes time. So you have to allocate
Okay.
time for new tooling and new knowledge, especially, just things change so much.
Mhm.
I remember seeing
I
on
agree.
LinkedIn, like, something, I think, in Korea, that most developers, they were scared. It was not scared, but they were stressed about the constant change in the tech, and
Ah,
they had
mhm.
to, you always have to learn and so on. I was writing comment, maybe a harsh comment. I put a hard maybe, but I put like, but that's the whole point. That's why this industry is so great.
Yeah. That's
Things
wow. You
change.
you
Um,
are spot
and
on. You are spot
but
on.
but then
Yes.
I realized that for some people that's not the case. That must be very hard for these people, but to me it
Mhm,
was it's for me it's a blessing. Like every day there is
mhm,
something new, something to
mhm,
dig.
mhm,
There is something
mhm.
interesting. There is a lot of noise, but among that noise there is something great. And
Right.
there is not a lot of job that um there's a lot of job that is repetitive, it's boring, and you don't feel you learn something after maybe 1 year or
Mhm,
2 years. You
mhm.
feel it's ever changing, and I
Yeah.
feel so happy about it. And
Yep.
then when I read that some people were stressed about that, I was like, okay, interest. I never felt that. Uh, uh, you know, uh, I always think like you don't have to be stressed, because stress will not make it better. Will not solve the
Yep.
problem. Tech is
Mhm.
always changing. It has been the same, and it will remain the same. Maybe change even more. Accept it, and I like to say that, but it is what it is. Let's move on, and let's
Yeah.
let
Florian, now I'm really fascinated in your mindset. Wow, you got me now because I actually don't know why I like this tech industry. As you explained this, the very fast changing technology and, AI things definitely make me always stressed. But on the other hand, that's the reason I like this one. I'm the
yeah.
type of person who like learning and also using some of the productivity and the efficiency way. So the new technology just to let me do this kind of things very freely. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
And
the Mhm,
there's pretty much no other industries where people and where people just create meetups to talk about
mhm,
work. You know? You know? And then so I always feel it's so important to go to meetup just
mhm,
to sometime, something when I'm not every day is a happy day, right? Most of days are happy and I love what I do, but some days, you lose the motivation. It's like, what am I doing? Especially as a founder, like, what am I doing? It's not working.
mhm.
Then you go to event and you see people, just passionate about what they are doing, and this brings back like the motivation. It's like, okay, some people are in the same journey as me, and I'm not alone,
Mhm.
and some people are here to help. And I don't feel there is many industries, if there are any other industries, that where people just create bunch of meetups and eat pizza together with random
Yeah,
people, take
it's the
and
only for tech industry.
I think at
Yes.
least only us, and without nothing in return, just like,
Mhm,
you have a question, and that's one of the reason why our meetups were always free, and I
mhm,
never want to make people pay to join, is because when I was a junior, when I was at school, I learned a lot of things from YouTube or from, more senior
mhm,
people for free, and it's just like
mhm,
all the time for, when people ask for something in other industries, you have to pay for this class, you have to pay for this, you want this information, you go to a lawyer, you want to ask a question, and that guy will say, "Hey, this X amount of money." But you go to a tech person, you go to me, you say, "Hey, what do you think of that?" And it's like, "Sure, let's take a coffee and let's talk about it for 3 hours."
mhm, mhm.
Um, and then if I make people pay to go to event, there will be some friction. So people say, maybe, and we have people in the industry, we have people not in the industry coming to the event. We have a lot of students. We have also people
Mhm,
from other background, like nurse, English teacher, some people in
mhm.
finance, some people in like
Right.
geology, like studying rocks, and they want to move to IT, but they don't know how to do it. So they want to meet
Mhm.
people. If there were an amount of money, even small one, even 300, 3,001, 4,001, that might
Yeah.
make people think like, maybe, maybe I shouldn't go. And I don't want that. I want people to, meet other people, and it might change a career, and for some people a career is a life, and it might change someone's life. So I never want to make people pay to go to event. So that's why we had to
Mhm.
find other ways to, bring food to the event and with sponsoring and so on. But that's a big motivation on
Yeah.
the just meeting cool people, and just and again, I don't feel there is any other industry where just people come, they had like 8 hours of work
Mhm.
writing code, and then it's like, oh, let's do 3 hours more than even, for
Mhm.
free. And to me, if I were to hire someone, would
Uh-huh.
I would take I would feel it's very important if that person go to event,
Oh.
because that person is not paid to go to event. Some people,
Mhm.
they work in tech as a developer for the money or whatever, and then
Mhm.
they
Mhm.
come at 8, 9, they go back at 6, and then they do what they do something else. It's not their passion, but to me, it's my passion. And
Mhm.
there's a way to find that tech is a passion to someone if they go to meetups, because you're not paid to go
Mhm.
to meetup. So if you see
Mhm.
the people at the meetup, they have something about this industry. They feel something. Um,
Mhm.
and my wife was telling me, at the cafeteria at the past work, she was telling me, there was this conversation with a junior and a senior person. I don't know if developer or whatever, but I think it happens in Korea for a lot of industries,
Mhm.
that the senior was saying to the junior, you're not at work to have fun. You are at work to make money, and then you use that money
Yep.
to have fun outside. This is totally nonsense. You work for 40, 50 years of your life, and then you don't have fun. This is totally nonsense. What is
Yeah.
this? So this is a big no-no, if you hear this, don't believe it. And if you say that to other people, not.
But I think this is the one of the common the thought from the Korean people. They just work for work as money, make some money, and just enjoy your life outside of the company.
Yeah, but I,
But I
I
don't
can't
believe
believe
it.
I can't believe this, to be honest. I can't believe it. It would be
Yeah.
so painful.
Yeah, so painful. Yes. So, okay. Florian, so we're going to wrap up our today's interview. So this is the last question for you. Is there any your New Year's plan and resolution?
Uh,
Or
so,
5 kilograms. Okay.
yeah, no, more. I will try more. Because
Mhm.
when you work a lot, you have to be very healthy. Health is very important. Work is important,
Mhm.
but health is very important. So you have to take care of your health as well. But what we do as a founder or life in general,
Mhm.
it's not a sprint; it's
Mhm.
a marathon, and you have to be healthy to stay long. And I love what I'm doing, and I want to do it as much as possible and as long as possible. So very important to stay healthy.
Mhm.
But for Dev Korea, the difficult part right now is about Dev Korea is revenue making. It's no secret.
Uh-huh.
We post
Mhm.
revenues, we a
Yes.
little bit, but one of the few, like a company or service that post, because we started from the community. And I like to be transparent as much as possible. I'm a very transparent, straightforward person. And uh, and just I wanted to show the revenue that we were making since last March when we started
Mhm.
making revenue.
Mhm.
Everything is public. You can find very easily the curve and the numbers. Making even is great. Making people getting job is great. This is a very powerful feeling. I think since the beginning of Dev Korea, I think it's hard to quantify exactly, but we had around 25, 26 people getting hired,
Mhm.
which is like
Oh.
maybe a small number, but if you think about it, quite a
Mhm.
powerful number. And then it's a great feeling. But unfortunately, when I go to the convenience store, or when you pay for the house or the rent, it doesn't work if I say, I have 3,000 people in my community, and I give people, you don't you can't buy food with passion.
Yeah.
And in order to make things sustainable, revenue should increase. So there will be work being done into finding the best way to increase revenue to make things
Mhm.
sustainable,
Mhm.
more easier for us. The difficult part is why I'm bad. It's hard for me to make a decision into the model right now. Is because I don't want to be too expensive, so that it's not solving the problem where we were supposed to help companies hire people. And
Mhm.
then if it's a blockage that company can't, it's too expensive and so on for them to startups, for example, it's too expensive to hire someone. Then it's not good for the company. It's not good for the job seekers as well. And it's not good for Korea as a tech ecosystem. That's my
Mhm.
opinion. So that's why
Uh-huh.
I'm always, but at the same time, I have to make enough revenue so far as it's comfortable. We can do more, and so on. So this is number one, like critical point right now is we are doing a
Mhm.
lot of things, but it's not sustainable for now.
Mhm.
And I have to
Mhm.
find ways to make it sustainable. So, I'm open for feedback and insight how we can,
Okay.
because sometimes when you are deeply in it, as I am, it's hard to
Mhm.
see things. So I like to be surrounded by people that I trust, and very clever people that sometimes brings good ideas. So, but
Okay.
yeah, that's the number one like resolution. Everyone, let's be healthy, and for Dev Korea, keep up the good work, but have to put some accent into revenue making, because
Mhm.
that's the thing that will make Dev Korea be better.
Yeah.
Because for every good project, if you can't make it sustainable, at some point it will die, and I really don't want that.
Okay. Yeah. I have the strong feeling your Dev Korea will make more revenue of this
Thanks.
year. And also, I hope you lose your weight.
Thanks. Well, I don't know which
I
one is harder.
later.
Losing weight is easier.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Okay. By the way, Florian, I'm gonna highlight the part you really hoping that more Korean people will access to your site and then just apply for the new job. And then there will be like the one of the promoters for your Dev Korea site. Because not only foreigners, but also the Korean, they can define the job if they are the bilingual, even though they can just only in Korea, maybe there is some of the opening job, I believe. The more Korean can apply, and then your platform will be more
Yeah.
boomed in Korea.
I
So
mean,
I'm gonna highlight that part.
I think by what I remember quickly, like in December, one Korean person was hired. In November,
Mhm.
two Korean person were hired.
Okay.
So, it's just, it happens.
Ah, to keep growing your business with
Yep.
Korean people. Sounds great. All right. Thank you so much for your time. Shared a bunch of things with me. So I'm gonna edit that things very well. I really hope that Korean and yourself, the branding will be very spreading out to the Korean community, especially who is working in IT industry. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your time and enjoy
As well.
your weekend. Have a
You
great
too.
day.
Bye-bye.
Bye
See you.
bye.